Vibe coding is coding with AI as your assistant. So essentially, you can use natural language to build applications. Hey, I'm Kadesha, and here's what I'm thinking about. Vibe coding! Someone asked me recently, how do I get started with vibe coding, Kadesha? I see you building these really cool things, and I don't know how to code, and I would love to learn how to vibe code. Well, today's your lucky day because I love vibe coding. I've been doing it for 3 years. GitHub Copilot was the very first coding assistant that came out, and I've been using it ever since it came out for the past 3 years. And so I know quite a bit about vibe coding. But the term itself, vibe coding, was popularized earlier this year. I believe it was back in February when Andrei Karpathy went on Twitter and he was like, you just give into the vibes. Just lean into the vibes and allow the AI to build your application for you. So that's essentially what vibe coding is. So vibe coding is coding with AI as your assistant. So essentially you can use natural language to build applications, and natural language refer to how we speak. So right now, that refers to English, French, Spanish, German, any language that you speak naturally is called natural language. And so today I'm going to show you how to do that using a few tools. Now, there are levels to vibe codings, and I have a few notes here as usual. So in level 1, you can use tools like Lovable, Bolt, Claude, ChatGPT to build applications for you. And so that's if you have absolutely no coding experience. It's very good for that. Level 2 of vibe coding is when you start using tools like GitHub Copilot, Cursor, Replit, Memex, Windsurf, and all that jazz. All those coding tools will like up level you a bit because you have to know some programming in order to use those tools effectively. Now, level 3 programming also includes tools like GitHub Copilot, and now we get into Claude Code, we get into the Gemini CLI, we get into the Goose CLI because those tools work specifically in your terminal. GitHub Copilot doesn't work in your terminal right now, but it does have advanced features that fit into that level 3 category. Like, we're not going to be touching on level 3 today. We're going to be focusing primarily on level 1 using Claude, and level 2 using GitHub Copilot in VS Code. So let's get into it. So here I have Claude open, and you can also do this in ChatGPT. I just prefer to use Claudito. I just really like how Claude speaks and how we interact back and forth. So I'll be using Claude, but you can use ChatGPT if that's what you have access to. So open Claude or ChatGPT, and let's build an app together. I kind of have app ideas back here. So the first thing, let me zoom in for you. So the first thing I want to build here is to build an app that helps me keep track of my ideas. The app should have a single text box where I can type a new idea, have a save idea button, display all saved ideas in a clean, minimal list, and keep the design uncluttered for ease of use. So I'm going to copy all this, my idea, and I'm going to pop open Claude, and boop. I'm just going to copy paste this in here. And so this is kind of how you would vibe code using Claude. And so you can select your model by clicking the model picker button here. I'm going to keep it on Sonnet 4 and send the response. And now you're going to see Claude is going to open up a side panel or an artifact where it's going to build that application for us. So let's just allow Claude to vibe code for us and spin it up. And there we go. In no time, we have an idea tracker. And so this is vibe coding. How amazing is that? So imagine if you have an idea for an app that you want to build and you've had it for a long time and you're just like, oh my gosh, I wish I could just scratch the itch and get the idea out of my head. Claude is really good, or even ChatGPT is really good at getting that first draft done. So Claude says, I've built you a clean, minimal idea tracker, user experience. It tells us exactly what it did, right? So let's give it a go. I'm going to put like Cord Vibe Coding 101 video. That's one of my ideas. Boom. You see your ideas are saved right there. Another idea I have is to bake banana bread. Boom. I can hit the enter button. I want to build an app that makes $100,000. Wouldn't that be awesome? $100,000 per month. So that's my idea. And now you have a basic idea tracker, and you can actually publish this on the internet. So if you click on this 3 button here, I think if I make it bigger, so if you make it bigger, you can click the publish button, publish and copy. Link is copied, And now if I open my browser, boop, I can send this link to anyone right now and say, hey, I just built an idea tracker, right? To help me keep track of my ideas. And that's vibe coding with Claude, right? So let's say you wanted to build upon this idea. So the first thing I want to do is add a small category tag dropdown. Alrighty. So let's go back here. Boom. And so this is how you quickly iterate with it. You set a small category tag drop down, boop, boop. It's gonna go in, it's gonna edit the code. You can see it working pretty quickly here. Wow, look at that. It's like coding and looking at the UI and say, oh, let me fix that. Oh, there was an error. Let me fix that. And right here, this looks like Tailwind CSS that it's using natively here in the interactive artifact. Great. Once it's done, now we have this drop-down menu here for simple tagging. So if I do test idea, I can select random, boom, save idea. Now I have a random tag. Build 100K MRR app. I can say this is for work. Boom, I have this here. And I think I have to publish it again. I'm not sure if it syncs. I don't think it syncs. So I think the first V1 is a standalone app and now V2 is another standalone app. And so this is building with, I do need to drink my water. I'm not even gonna lie. And so that's vibe coding with Claude. And so you can go in and say, hey, Claude, I really want to do this. I really want to do that. Help me with this, help me with that. But if you want to take it to the next level where you're using vibe coding to actually build applications that you can use yourself natively on your computer, or that you can sell, software as a service is really huge. You can solve a very specific problem and earn a lot of money. You would have to take it up a notch in the vibe coding era. And so there is a tool called GitHub Copilot. Now, I do work at GitHub, but don't let that phase you. There are so many other tools that you can use, but I know how to use GitHub Copilot, so that's why I'm going to show you how to vibe code with GitHub Copilot. Anyway, I just want to make sure that I said that, but I love the tool. It's really great. So GitHub Copilot allows you to build with AI. And so to use GitHub Copilot, you would install it in your preferred IDE, your integrated development environment. Don't let that scare you. It's essentially a code editor. So one of the most popular code editors is called Visual Studio Code. It's the open source AI code editor. And so step one in vibe coding to build an application is to download VS Code for your computer. So you're going to click on this download button and let the download flow. I already have it installed here. And so once you install VS Code and you open it up, you're going to go to this extensions button here. And you're going to search for GitHub Copilot. And so once you find it, you're going to click on the install button that's going to be right here. It's going to look similar to this. So you're going to click on an install button, install GitHub Copilot. And if you don't have a GitHub account, you will need to create a GitHub account. And never fear, I have a video right here on how to get started using GitHub Copilot that you can go ahead. I walk you through how to install it, what it is, the pricing, the setting up, all that jazz in this very short 11-minute video. So go watch this video, come back, and get into the vibes, right? So once you have VS Code and GitHub Copilot installed in VS Code and your GitHub account, because you can use GitHub Copilot for free, then you can start vibe coding, right? So let's say you watch this video and they're all ready to give in to the vibes. Let's build out idea number 2. So idea number 2 is to build an app that helps me collect anonymous feedback from users. The app should have a simple text box where the users can type feedback, include a submit button, display all submitted feedback in a list, and keep the design clean and minimal. I'm going to pop open VS Code again. So this is presuming you watch the video to install VS Code, install GitHub Copilot, you create your GitHub account, and now you're ready to vibe code. Great. So if you click on the icon up here, you can open up GitHub Copilot, and then you're going to want to toggle agent mode. That way it just builds for you. And you're going to choose your model. So you can choose to use GPT 4.1 or Claude Sonnet, Gemini, O3 Mini. You can vibe code with whatever model you want. So essentially with vibe coding, you're using AI to build apps for you. And using AI means you're using an LLM or a large language model to build an application. So let's build this one. So select agent and then select Claude. I'm going to do Claude Sonnet 4. I'm going to paste in what I want it to do, hit send, right? And as you can see, I don't have any folders here or anything. So the first thing it says is Copilot requires an empty folder to continue. So let's give it access to a folder. I'm going to choose, I created a Vibe Coding 101 folder. I'm going to choose this one. There we go. So it just opened on its own the Vibe Coding 101 folder. And now it's asking me if I wanted to continue setup. It created a .github account, a .github folder, sorry. And in here, it's going to generate some Copilot instructions. And so here you see Copilot went in and it says a simple web application for collecting anonymous feedback from users. This is the product structure. These are the features that the user asks for. And here are the tasks that Copilot is going to do. So I love this. This is a mini product requirement document that Copilot went ahead and created on its own. This is fun, actually. I hope you're having a good time. I am having a great time. I love vibe coding. So I'm just going to let it run here and then see what happens. Oh, actually, it looks like it created an index.html file. And then it also created the styles.css file to style the app. And now it's creating the JavaScript here. And the JavaScript is going to handle the functionality of the app. So the index.html file, if you're not familiar with coding, this is essentially the structure of your website. So you have the main section, you have a feedback list section, a feedback form section. You see how this code is so organized here that Copilot is giving us. And the CSS token styles that index.html file. So think about colors and you want this text to be bold. That's what the style.css is doing. And then the script.js file, this file is going to handle the actual functionality. So when a user types in, when it clicks the button, so it sends that text somewhere. So JavaScript handles that. So now it says, now let me check if we need to create a task and launch the project. Wow, look at that. This is our anonymous feedback project that we just vibe coded with GitHub Copilot. And as you can see, it opened up this project in a browser for us. And it says your anonymous feedback app is ready. Here's all the things that I did. All right, so let's close that. I'm going to hit keep and let's see what it did. So clean semantic HTML, modern minimal CSS, JavaScript perform handling, and then it also documented the project in a README file. Excellent, excellent. So now anyone can go to this project on GitHub and know how to use it. And if you don't know how to use GitHub, let me know in the comments because I also have a full training on GitHub's YouTube page called GitHub for Beginners that you can take to learn how to use GitHub, because using GitHub when vibe coding is very important because you don't want to lose your work. All right, let's get back to the app. So key features, simple text box, submit button, real-time feedback display, clean minimal design, local storage for persistence between sessions, responsive design, success messages, and security with HTML escaping to prevent XSS attacks. So local storage is currently the database. So right now, if I submit feedback, it's only going to be saved locally in my browser here. So I would need to go ahead and implement a database in order for people to actually use this app. But let's submit a feedback and see what this looks like. So this is fun. Thank you. Your feedback has been submitted. The app looks good. Submit feedback. And now if I refresh, you can see that the feedback is persistent, right? Because of that local storage. And this is how you vibe code. So let's say we want to add additional features to our application, right? So let's say we want to allow users to tag their feedback with different categories. So allow users to tag their feedback with the different categories. And now it's going to handle category tagging. It's working great. You can see it's going through updating all the styles. updated the index.html, and maybe it's going to go in and update the JavaScript next to handle all the filtering work that needs to be done. And so this is a basic app, right? So it's HTML, CSS, JavaScript, nothing crazy, nothing too fancy. If you want to build more advanced applications using Next.js and React and TypeScript, you absolutely can. But the best way to get the most out of vibe coding is to know what you want. So if I wanted to instruct GitHub Copilot to make sure you're using Next.js, Tailwind CSS, TypeScript, I can state that in the instructions, and then at the very beginning, it will be sure to spin up a new Next.js project and do all that rigmarole. But because I just told it to build this app, it chose on its own. So Claude Sonnet for the LLM chose on its own to just build a basic HTML, CSS, and JavaScript app, which is 100% fine because guess what? I can deploy this application and collect anonymous feedback. You know what I mean? It doesn't have to be the prettiest application, but let's say I wanted to make it pretty. Let's go to Canva. I don't know if I'm logged in on this browser. Let's go to Canva, and actually, let's say I want the anonymous feedback app to have the vibe of one of these things. So let's see what vibe. This one. You'll see what I mean because GitHub Copilot can also understand images. Oh, so let's say I wanted it to have the vibe of this template here. I can take a screenshot of this and submit it to GitHub Copilot and it will update the styles. But first, before we get there, let's see what we have here. Awesome. So it looks like it updated our app for us. Let's go back to the browser to see if we have categories. Great. Now we have categories, right? Category, support. I need the bug fixed. Submit. Oh, test, submit. So it looks like it's not working. So before we give into the vibes, let's say more when I upload, when I enter a feedback and choose a category, then click the submit button. The feedback disappears and doesn't save. So I'm not using any advanced prompt engineering methodologies. I'm just talking, just to show you that you can just talk to the app and tell it exactly what's wrong. Because right now it's not working. So let's see what we get. And so it went through and it read the script.js files and it says, I think I see the issue. The problem might be that older feedback items don't have a category property. So when we filter them, they get filtered out. Let me check the filter logic and fix it. So I'm pretending I don't know anything about coding. So I'm not going to check anything that I would typically check. I'm just going to give into the give into the vibes of vibe coding. So it fixed the issue and it also added some debugging. So let's clear this and let's see if we can submit something. Test. There we go. Now we have categories working in our anonymous feedback application. How cool is that, right? Now we have tagging, right? And so earlier I was telling you that it's important to use Git and GitHub when you are vibe coding. So Git essentially allows you to keep track of your work. So right now, the project is in a really good state. And so we would want to keep track of this work just to make sure that when we ask AI to do something else, it doesn't mess up what's currently happening on the page. You know what I mean? I've seen a lot of people online lose their apps because they didn't use Git. And so they lost their entire project and they had to start all over. So Git allows you to forego that. And you can actually take a training right here on the GitHub's YouTube page, 100% free, GitHub for beginners. You will see a brief introduction to Git for beginners. And so this will teach you, I will teach you how to install Git on your system, all that jazz, right? And then I also show you how to create so this one is all about Git. And so in another video, I think I show you how to get started with GitHub, like how to create a repo right here. So creating your first repository and uploading that repository that directs you or your project to GitHub to make sure that you don't lose track of your work. So once you watch those videos, let's say you've already watched those videos and you have Git configured, you have a GitHub account, and you want to add your project to GitHub. Let me show you how you can do that. So in your terminal, okay, you're gonna do git init to initialize git in your project. And now you see it has been initialized and we're on the main page. Now to create a new branch, you can. So git checkout -b, and then you do a new branch name. You can call this like it's or like it, something like that. But I'm not going to create a new branch right now. I'm just going to keep track of my work. So you can do like add, and then you can do like commit -m app is working with categories. And so now you know that your app is working with categories. That way, when we go in again and do something different to our app, we know that we can always go back to the previous state of our application when it was actually working. And so I feel like I went off into a more advanced area. Let me know if you would like a video on Git and GitHub specifically, but there's already one that you can watch that that I and the team wrote, edited, scripted, and filmed, where I teach you how to use Git and GitHub. Okay, now that we have committed our work, and now that I know that I'm not going to lose anything, I want to show you how you can update the designs off your work. So I'm going to take a screenshot of this design, and I'm going to grab it, upload it as context to Copilot here. You can see that it takes that image here. And I'm going to say, I want the app to have the vibe of this image. I love the colors and the font and how calming it is. Can you update the styles to reflect this? And let's see what we get. But so far, I've showed you how to start vibe coding and how to start building your ideas. And as you can see, it's really simple. Like these companies, GitHub, especially Claude, all these other companies, I've made it very simple for you to go in as a non-coder especially and just whip up your ideas and say, wow, look what I built. And then you can actually share it with your family members, your friends, to say, oh my gosh, remember the idea I told you about? I actually built it. Here is an initial version of it. What do you think? You know what I mean? And honestly, people are making so much money with vibe coding. It's a great time to learn how to build products. Oh, and actually, I will be hosting a vibe coding workshop on September 1st. I've had this waitlist going for a while, but now I'm finally ready to do it. So on September 1st, I will be showing you how to vibe code. And, there's a lot more hand holding in the workshop. So if you want to be a part of that, visit this link to sign up for the waitlist, because I'll be sending out emails very soon to everyone to sign up and get the ball rolling. All right, so it looks like Copilot is updating some styles here. So I updated the font family because I mentioned the font. Alrighty, so let's let it cook and see. Let it cook. But this is vibe coding, y'all. It's really fun. It's to build your ideas. And so for reference, this is the image and the vibe that we're going for. Now it's going to open up the app. Wow, look at that. That's actually so much better than I thought it would be. That looks pretty nice. It definitely, let's see, it definitely matches the vibe of the image. So like this is the image here, and this is the app. Very, very good. So that's vibe coding, folks, and that's how you can get started with vibe coding. You can vibe code using Claude, you can vibe code using ChatGPT, or any of these other vibe coding apps. I think I'm going to go through and build applications with each vibe coding tool that I come across, just to show you how you can use each tool to build your ideas. Let me know if you have any questions. I use VS Code and GitHub Copilot today. And I also, implored you to use Git to keep track of your projects. Go watch the video and learn how you can push this folder to GitHub. And then you can actually publish it on GitHub for other people to use. I am Kadesha. This has been Vibe Coding 101. Let me know if you have any questions, and I will see you in the next one. Bye.